We are going to cover something a little bit new. We're going to go through how to sort your views that list rows. And then we're also going to be adding a little search box or a filter box so that you can kind of limit the rows that display. And we're going to be adding pagination to the bottom of the views. And we're going to start with sorting. So basically anything that lists a table, you can sort, and you can sort by the column headings, and you can sort in ascending or descending order. And so this is a little example of Contasso, and you can see that we have the students listed, and we can sort by either enrollment date or last name. Commands that we're going to use for sorting, and actually a lot of the commands that we use to interface with the database are LINQ commands. And LINQ stands for Language Integrated Query. LINQ is designed to work with C# and Entity Framework. Okay, so it basically executes the queries against Entity Framework, and it returns the objects that can be used by Entity Framework and LINQ. And so when we're sorting, we're going to be using LINQ's order by and order by descending methods. That's going to allow us to sort. I did include a link to a little cheat sheet here. And so it shows you how to filter, how to do different ordering. So here you can see order by. And then order by descending, which you can see right here, order by and order by descending, which we're going to be using right now for sorting. And then you can see how traditional SQL might do a join and how this is done in LINQ. How you do a group by in traditional SQL, and over here, how you do it in LINQ. How you do paging. Okay, different operations. So on the left is the SQL command. And on the right is how you do it using LINQ. Okay, so we're going to be utilizing some of these commands. To add sorting, we have to change the controller and we have to change the view. Modifications we have to make to our controller. We are going to be receiving a sort order parameter from the query string. And this is going to come through the URL. Because to sort requires passing information back and forth between the view. The first time we display an index, there is not going to be a query string. So we do need to set a default sort order, and we're actually going to be using a switch statement for that. After the view displays and they can change the sort order, then we are going to be getting a query string from the view indicating the way they want the table sorted. So here's our original index, okay, and this is in the student controller. And this is what we're going to be changing it to. So you can see that we are adding a whole lot of code here to the index for sorting. So what is this code doing? As I mentioned, we are going to be getting a sort order string from the view. But the first time we display the index, we aren't going to have that. So you can see that we have a couple of ViewBag parameters that we created. One is called name sort and the other one is date sort. So name sort, we have kind of this shortened version of an if else here, where we are checking string is null or empty, sort order. So It's looking at this string to see if it is null or empty. And then we have the question mark. So this is the condition. If it is true, and the first time that our index displays, it is going to be true. It is going to be null or empty. Okay? If it's true, then name sort becomes name description. And at this point, that's all that we're going to worry about. Okay, for date sort param, sort order equals. If the sort order equals a date, if that is true, then it sets date descending. Otherwise, it sets it to date. So sort order right now is empty. So if it's checking to see if date is there, it's going to be false. So at this point, date sort param equals date, and name sort parm for parameter is name descending. So we got name descending and date. Then it looks in our student table and basically selects all of the rows, stores that in students. And this is a little link query. Then it's doing a switch on sort order. Well, we said sort order was blank, right? So it's not name description, it's not date, it's not date description. It's going to fall into default here. So the student.orderBy is going to take students and it's going to sort it by last name. That is the default. Okay, and it's going to be in ascending order because it's using order by. Okay, then it stores that sorted list in students and it passes that along to the view. So when we see our index, it is automatically sorted in ascending order by last name. Then we get into the view, right? So the view has to be modified because now we're sending it a couple parameters and we need to convert the heading for last name and enrollment date into links. So they can select those links and change the sort order. So what we end up having to do in our view is go from, display name for last name and enrollment date to an action link. And then we have the sort order set to the view bag name sort parameter and the view bag date sort parameter. So those two parameters that were passed from the controller, we're taking those values and we're associating them with those column headings. So if you remember, for the very first viewing of the index, the name sort parameter was name description and the date sort parameter was date. Okay, so this is what it was. And this is what we changed it to. All right, so what happens then if they click on, let's say, date? Okay, so they click on date and sort order is changed to date, right? Because the date sort parameter was date. Okay, so we come back up here. Sort order is now date. And so we come to our view bag here. And String is null or empty. Sort order, no, it's not null or empty. Okay, so this is false. So it's going to put a space in here. Then date SORM parameter is the sort order equal to date? Why, yes, it is. So then we put date description into date sort parameter. And these are both going to the view. Remember, we're not using it at this point to determine how to sort. We are kind of setting it up as a state variable in the view. Then it retrieves all of the rows and it switches on sort order, which we said was date. So is the sort order name? No, it's not. Is the sort order date? Yes, it is. So now it's going to sort in ascending order by enrollment date, store it in students, and then it sends that to the view. So we come down here to the view, and at this point it is sorted in ascending order by enrollment date. Okay. And so let's say they go ahead and click on enrollment date. All right, so the sort order then is going to be what was ever in the date sort parameter. Well, if we come back up here and look, right? If the sort order was date, then date descending goes into that parameter. So when they click on enrollment date, and enrollment date is the one that is sorted in ascending order, the sort order becomes date descending. And that is what gets passed back into our controller. So sort order is date descending. So then we check, is the sort order null or empty? No, it is not. So this is false, so it keeps it at blank. And then we check, was the sort order equal to date? No, it wasn't. It was date descending. So that's false. So that now we fill in date. So it's kind of preparing for the next change. Okay, it's like a state. And here it retrieves all the records. And then we're checking the sort order, which is now date descending. So it's going to come down here and it's going to sort the enrollment date in descending order and then pass that to the list. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. You can kind of walk through and play computer while you are running this and see how it works. So I'll walk through this one more time because we've gone through everything except for when they sort by date again. Okay, so at this point in our view, we have the last name and we've got the date in descending order. And so now let's say they hit last name. Okay, so at this point, they're hitting last name. And what was in our view bag was a blank. Okay, so that is the sort order. So then we come back up here. And for the name sort, is it null or empty? Yeah, it's a blank. That's true. So then it puts name descending in there. Was the sort order equal to date? Nope, it was a blank. So then it puts date descending. It's a blank, so it comes down here and it orders by last name in ascending order. Now, if they come down here and they hit the action link for last name, well, name was in ascending order. Now they want it in descending order. And just so happens in our name sort parameter, we have name descending. So that does become the sort order. So that gets passed back up here. And now sort order is name descending. So is the sort order null or empty? No, it is not. It is name descending. Okay, so that's false. So now we put a blank into the name sort parameter. Was the sort order date? No, it was not. It was name descending. So now we put date into the date sort parameter. We retrieve all of the rows, and the sort order is name descending. So we take that list of students and we sort it in descending order. Pass that along to the view, and now it's sorted by student in descending order. Hopefully that all makes sense to you, because what you're going to do next is you're going to code that up.